You received a call from an inmate at the Department of Corrections. This call will be recorded and monitored. If you wish to block any future calls of this nature, dial 7 now. To accept this call, press 5 now. To decline this call, hang up.
Well, hello there, Thomas. How are you today? Okay, well, that's good. Yep, I did hear about it. As a matter of fact, I think it's one of the successes that prison reformists have. We really fought the high cost of stamps for the Securus and for phone calls. I mean, it was just like a money sucking venture, a way for the prisons to make money and for loved ones to suffer. So it's nice to know that this thing is nearing its end. Maybe they'll find something that's a little more realistic, because if they're going to lock people up, they need to allow loved ones to communicate without spending all this money, because they're going to be defeating the whole purpose of rehabilitation if they brag, we're supporting families and we're good people, yet you have to pay for the service. That's just, it's like a third world thing, where they send people to jail and the loved ones have to pay for everything. We're not the ones that committed the crime. And in many cases, we're against them committing a crime, and we're trying to prevent them from committing a crime. But it happened, and they were convicted, and we have to accept that. And the fact that they're locking them up, if they can't afford to open up communication so that people can do video visits, which is convenient like during COVID, then they shouldn't be sending people to prison. That's all there is to it. I'm strongly pro alternative sentencing, and I've got people out there that will support it. And how can you be against something that saves them money and increases rehabilitation and reduces recidivism? That's good. That's good. I am glad that you're behind all of this. This is great, because we're making people, but we're extending it. First of all, you guys get out and you're treated like second-class citizens, like you don't deserve to be free. And then when you're trying to make ends meet, trying to retribution, anything to get your life back in order, you're slapped down. And I'm getting tired of convicted felons being treated as if they're worthless. And how can you return to society if you aren't allowed to get a home, get a job, get a professional license? It's ridiculous. And then you're making $1 an hour. Yeah. I know you work 8 hours and you get $8 for that day. $8 a day. 40 hours. $40 a week. And then you have to pay, I think, for a bag of cookies, you have to pay something like 25 cents an ounce. And
you have 60 seconds remaining.
I know we really tried to get minimum wage to be paid to you guys, and it will show a little more respect. You'll feel better about yourself knowing that the Department of Corrections and the justice system isn't treating you like your rehabilitation doesn't matter. I know there's a lot of kickback, a lot of under the table payments and wasted
You have 30
funds.
seconds remaining.
So we're trying to get some people to maybe put some legislation in or something so we can hold the Department of Corrections responsible and accountable for the funds that it spends. Oh yeah, that betterment fund. Oh, don't even get me started on that. Well, good, good. I'm glad you're doing okay. I'm glad you're fighting. I'm glad you're spreading the word. You're active. You're
Thank
doing
you for
things.
using inmate call. Goodbye.
Well, hello and welcome to AQS Inmate Call, and I am your host, Joel Wilborn. And in this episode, I want to talk about how the DOC makes all this money by draining the accounts of loved ones. People who are innocent, people who are not convicted, not committing any crimes, probably working two jobs just to make ends meet because somebody that's just wasn't thinking wound up getting locked up in prison. And, it's not just a direct thing like the Securus Technologies and they're charging exorbitant fees for phone services or video visits. It's also goods and services. And it's something that a lot of us have talked about for many, many years. Now, I know when I first started working with incarcerated people, it was in the 80s. And whenever somebody was locked up, we would get a collect call from the prison. And we could talk for 20 minutes. And, back then we had several different long distance services, and we can pick the cheapest one. We can buy cards. So when the people called, usually on a Sunday night or something, we can get some really good rates. And for the most part, it was a lot cheaper and easier to use than Securus Technologies, which sets their rate, and you have to use it whether you like it or not. And they went out trying to buy a bunch of stuff to become a monopoly. And in a couple of cases, they were stopped, and that's good. But all of this excessive spending and desire to make more money, and the fact that we're suing them and constantly fighting them, is one of the reasons for their downfall. I mean, they're filing for bankruptcy, March 2024. And I don't think there's too many people shedding tears over that because they're just vermin. They're just evil people. And I'm glad that the advocates finally got together and got this. There's not too many people that shed a tear. Now, I know I was watching Sean Hannity, and he's one of those talk show hosts on Fox. And he was talking about Bud Light, how a lot of people were boycotting that. And even though he said he's not against boycotts and protests, he doesn't want a company to fail and go out of business. Because he said there's a lot of people out there. You got the truck drivers, you got the warehouse workers, you got the administration that will be out on the street, no job. And so with Securus Technologies, I do want that company gone, completely gone. But there'll be a lot of people who will have no job. And just imagine going into work and the boss telling you that the company's folded and there's no more work. That's not a good thing. But the government is the one that forced this down our throat. They gave us a company that was inferior. They could have done better. They could have done it themselves, but they gave us this company so they can suck us dry. And these people that lose their jobs because of the government selecting this company and supporting this company, they need to work to help them get good unemployment benefits, to find other resources, job training, something to get their income coming back in and get back out paying taxes. And the more people we have paying taxes, which includes people that get out of prison, the more likely we are to give a decent program set up so that people can do video visits and do phone calls. I really don't like the fact that we have to pay for this service, because it's not our fault that the justice system locked them up. Now, there are a lot of violent criminals out there, and they deserve to be in prison. And no matter what we do, they're not getting out. They're in there for life. And I understand that. And so being in prison for life means talking to us on the outside isn't going to really do much for the rehabilitation. But let's face it, there's a lot of people that are in prison for life, and some of them are innocent. Some of them just got railroaded. But there's a lot of people that are in prison for life who are trying to do something to make up for their crime. And these are the guilty people. They could be going to school. I mean, these people could get master degrees. They can get associate degrees. They can get tech degrees. And, you know, when you're in there day after day, why not? Even though you may never use your technical degree, the fact that you went through it, that you succeeded in passing the course, that says a lot. And there's even people that go through all of this, they go to the parole or probation board, and then they're denied. And you're thinking, what do we want them to do? They're trying to get out early, they're following every rule, they're actually going above and beyond what's expected of them, and you're still keeping them locked up. It's better to get these people out and get them working. They feel better about themselves, family feels better about them, and the society is a lot, they have a better chance of accepting them. And so when we have people that, let's say, have a certain term, 5 years, 10 years, 15 years in prison, and they can call their loved ones whenever they want. And even maybe you can limit it, 20 minutes, 30 minutes, but at least they can call. And then you don't use that as a punishment. If they get an infraction, you don't ban them from calling their loved one. And I can understand limitations on visitation. Maybe the superintendent needs to approve multiple visitations or something, and that's fine. There's things that they need to keep control on, but to charge people all this money to make a phone call and making $1 a day, $1 an hour, it's going to be very difficult for somebody to buy time to make a phone call. And so that burden falls on loved ones. Now imagine John is making, let's say, $85,000 a year, and he gets convicted of a crime and sent to prison. Well, he could have a wife and 3 kids. That's 4 people. And at $85,000 a year, you have certain expenses. And for the wife, who was probably working, maybe she was making $85,000, $90,000 a year, but their income is cut in half. It's cut. And so now she has to help support the husband who's making nothing now and her family. And she wants this man to get out quickly. But society says no. We're going to take a person who's addicted to drugs, lock him up for over a decade, and then not give him any support while he's in there, and not give him any support when he gets out, and we expect him to get out, stay out, and be happy. I don't understand how the Department of Corrections or the justice system works on something like this. We have a great justice system in the United States, but it doesn't treat everybody equally. The reason we have a justice system is because not all crimes can be categorized in the same category. So Some people require a little bit of leniency, just like the old saying of a mother, a single mother can't afford to feed her kids, so she steals a loaf of bread. That's standard. And then you got those that are greedy. I'm going to bilk people out of money. The people that like the prince in Africa. But then there are those who resort to this because there's no other option, and that's usually the addicts. So somebody who is an alcoholic, somebody who is a drug addict, their issue when they go before the courts is a whole lot bigger than just trying to gain extra money or a thrill. These folks wound up, no matter what the circumstance, addicted to a drug, and now they're sitting in prison for a long time, and the family is the one who pays most of the debt for them. The phone calls, the video visits, the actual in-person visits, food packages, clothing packages, that comes from the family. And I guess the justice system says, oh yeah, it's your responsibility to take care of that. I don't know how we end up like that. Personally, you're going to lock a person up, you need to pay everything. It costs thousands of dollars a day per person to keep somebody locked up. If they're willing to pay this, go all the way. Pay for the phone calls. Give them better pay than $1 an hour. If anything, $12, $13 an hour. Let them send money back to their family. Let them save money. Give them a purpose. You can imagine sitting in a prison feeling useless. And there's no wonder that the suicide rate is rising in the state of Washington. There's millions of different reasons people kill themselves, but we can help reduce that number by making the people feel important, that their life has meaning. Everybody's life matters. Even those who are convicted felons, even those who are incarcerated, their life matters. And we need to show that to them. We need to give them an opportunity to prove themselves. They're locked up. They need to be rehabilitated. If they get a skill and maybe a work crew puts them out there as a flagger or as a construction worker or maybe cleaning up the side of a road, if they can get this training, even those who are in there for life, if they can get this training, this education, these degrees, and then be put into a work program to make money to send to their family, make money to buy their own stuff, it wouldn't be so bad. Securus really wouldn't be having this problem if the inmates could afford them. You know how much easier it would be for them to get their profit? But, with Securus disappearing, things are going to change. And that's not our fault. We're out here busting our butts so we can make these payments and pay these bills, while the Department of Corrections isn't doing anything to help us. Some states, they don't charge for the phone calls, and that's good. And, we can pick up a cell phone and call another cell phone and not have to pay exorbitant fees. Not like we used to. So let's get rid of that. Let's help the people that are in prison. Let's pay them what they're worth. Let's educate them. Don't take away their educational projects and funding. And let's do alternative sentencing. We don't need to lock everybody in prison. And those who have addictions or maybe have psychological issues, medical issues, we need to take that into account. I think the more information we get out there, the better it is for a jury. When they have to put a sentencing down, they'll look at it and say, this, like Washington Correction Center for Women, is a dangerous place for women to go. all kinds of things could happen in there. If they don't want to send a young lady, maybe a teenager, 17, 18 years old, to that facility where they will be abused for sure, they could say, let's do some home monitoring, which I agree with. Home monitoring, the person who is incarcerated has to pay for that. I'm 100% for that. If you're going to make money off of incarcerated people, do it with the home monitoring system. They should pay that because it shows, because if we gave it to them for free, they wouldn't appreciate it as much. But if they're paying a weekly fee, a monthly fee for that, they're more likely to follow the rules and appreciate being free. And some of the people I talked to in prison said, yeah, well, I'll pay that. Just get me out of jail. And that's good. But phones, video visits, no. That's ridiculous. Well, I'm not going to say I'll miss Securus Technology. I'll be very glad when it's gone. And I hope this is a light that will shine and show the what's been hidden in the dark for so long, and the penal system, justice system, will wisen up and do the right thing. Don't create another company that will charge exorbitant fees, because it's not going to work. We will continue to fight that. Securus should be the last battle, but if it's not, you have nobody to blame but yourself. We're going to keep going. Well, thanks for tuning in. Please communicate with your friends, family. Check on people. Make sure you express your love and affection for your neighbors, because you never know. Today, we have it. Tomorrow, no guarantee. Well, go out and have yourself a magnificent day and make spectacular memories for tomorrow.